GOP, the Republican National Committee's Chief Strategist and Communications Director, Sean Spicer, is with us. Sean, thanks very much for joining us. I want your reaction. Trump says he doesn't even know whether he'll keep the RNC chairman, Reince Priebus, on as chairman if he gets the nomination. What's your reaction when you read that in his interview in the Washington Post today?
Well, first, I think he was asked a question. He said, I don't know. So let's be clear about what he actually said. Second of all, let's put this to rest. Reince Priebus elected overwhelmingly by the members of the Republican National Committee to a term that goes until January of 2017. He will be the chairman until 2017, and there is nothing that anybody can do that won't allow that won't make that to continue. He is the chairman. He will continue the chairman. That's it. Secondly, and more importantly, he's probably been the most successful chairman in history. We have the best equipped, best resourced RNC in political history. Any nominee worth their salt is going to want to embrace the RNC, run towards it, because we're the only organization that has been looking towards the general election, ensuring that we've got all the field staff out there preparing, with making voter contact, prepping the field, building the opposition research on Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, making sure that the data and digital operation is top-notch. So if anything, a nominee is going to want to run towards us and embrace us big time, because Reince has been probably the most successful chairman. But,
Sean, when you read that article, I read it this morning in the Washington Post, the article clearly says Trump demurred when asked whether he would retain current RNC chairman Reince Priebus and other officials. Quote, I don't know. I haven't made the determination, Trump said. Clearly not a vote of confidence.
Wolf, but the reality is it's not a decision that anybody makes. The decision was made already. The members of the RNC elected and re-elected Chairman Priebus last year. He serves a 2-year term. It's no one's decision but the members of the RNC, and they made it. So it's end of story. It's frankly a silly story, because there is no one. I mean, that's like asking whether you believe that Reince Priebus should stay on as chairman. Frankly, with all due respect to you, it doesn't matter. The members of the RNC who are elected in each state made a decision. That's a 2-year term. He'll be chairman, and I think to further the discussion is frankly a silly proposition.
Reince Priebus knows this. Everyone knows that whoever emerges as the Republican presidential nominee, for all practical purposes, becomes the leader of the Republican Party, right?
No, they become the nominee. They are a leader in the party. They become the nominee of our party, and of course, they're the most important Republican on the ballot. But they don't take over the party. The party has an apparatus. The RNC has been running fantastically, raising historic money, putting the best field operation on the ground. So, I mean, I think it's quite the opposite. And what people should be asking is, are you excited that the RNC is as well trained and well equipped as they are? This is the saving grace, is that when you are going through the primary, to know that the RNC, unlike the DNC, frankly, that's bankrupt, that doesn't have the staff, that isn't as equipped and resourced for their nominee. You saw stories about the Hillary Clinton team coming down to Washington because they're very disappointed with the DNC. It's quite the opposite with the Republican National Committee. I think what gives our candidates makes them put at ease is that they know that while they're duking it out in this primary, they've got an RNC that's got its eye on the prize. It's focused on the general election. It's raising record amount of money. It's got the best field operation in history.
Sean, it is pretty amazing when you think about the possibility of a Republican presidential nominee butting heads, if you will, with the chairman of the Republican National Committee. Why is this happening right now? Is there a strategy you see going on?
Well, no, I mean, if there is, I think you're asking the wrong guy. Our job and our strategy is to, like I said, to make sure that we're as best equipped and best prepared for a general election. That's what we're doing day in and day out. We're going out and explaining to people what the process is, why it's important that we continue to follow the process we followed since 1856, how it's important and what we can do to bring more people into this party. So that's what we're doing every day. With respect to what some of the candidates are saying or doing, each one of them is running their own strategy, and it's up to them to answer for that.
Are you and Reince Priebus talking to Donald Trump at all? Do you have any conversations with him?
Sure. We talk to their campaign almost on a daily basis.
I know the campaign, but what about him personally?
I can't. I know the chairman speaks to each of the candidates on a fairly regular basis. What day he last spoke to Mr. Trump?
Because I've covered politics, as you know, for a long time. I don't remember a time when a Republican presidential frontrunner has said what he said about the Republican leadership, rigged elections, crooked elections, all of this, and refusing to give a vote of confidence to the RNC chairman. Have you ever remembered anything like this happening before?
Not that I'm aware of. But I would also point to you that on several occasions he said very positive things about the RNC and praised the job that the chairman's done. So, you know, I know that right now we all want to focus on that one little blip in the Washington Post, but if you actually go back, and I know CNN has run this down several times, but he's also praised the chairman and praised the RNC for the job it's done. In fact, after that meeting that they had a few weeks ago, I believe he sent a tweet out saying, had a great meeting with the RNC, looking forward to moving forward. So, you know, you can kind of come up with a bunch of different quotes if you want, but I
remember that tweet
that are positive.
After that meeting in Washington, he did put out some nice words about his meeting with the RNC and Reince Priebus and all. But then a few days later, he said Reince Priebus should be ashamed of himself. You heard that too, right?
I did. But again, so I mean, we can go back and forth and do a whole timeline about how many times he said something nice and not. Look, we're focused on doing our job every day and making sure that we've got the best of trained and equipped RNC and that we're ready to focus on the general election. And whether or not Hillary Clinton falls short tomorrow and Bernie Sanders becomes the nominee or she does, we're going to be ready to make sure that we've got the opposition research, the field, the data, and the digital operation to ensure our nominee has the ability to get a leg up coming out of Cleveland and win.
Sean Spicer, I want you to stand by. We have more to discuss. There are other developments happening right now. We're going to take a quick break. Much more with the Chief Strategist, the Communications Director for the Republican National Committee, right after this.